Hello and welcome. My name is Dan Meyer, Editor-in-Chief of RCR Wireless News. Today I am joined by Bill Ho, who is founder of 556 Ventures. Bill, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Always happy to talk to you, Dan.
Great. Well, today I was hoping to talk a little bit with you about the results that came out the past couple of weeks from Verizon, which was last week, and AT&T this week, to get your views on the results, anything you saw maybe surprising or unique out of those results. So I don't know, maybe start with Verizon, maybe what you saw there, maybe anything that kind of stuck out with you with their results.
So Verizon, I think they just continue to perform. I think they've been a company that continues to perform quarter after quarter for investors and put up strong metrics all around. So you can't really fault them. They are, overused term, they're a well-oiled machine in terms of churn, net adds, even surprising net adds, revenue, and such. So kudos to their management team and the operations for doing well quarter after quarter. So what was surprising was the number of net additions that they continue to add postpaid in pretty good clip. The revelation about price sensitivity loss, even though they're at postpaid at sub 1% and they have very, very decent churn, the surprise was the admission that there is price sensitivity leakage. Yeah. Which I guess is no surprise because every carrier has a very, very price sensitive segment and they are more volatile than others.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting when they did admit that they were seeing some issues on the low end. But again, they also said too that they're not gonna kind of sully the Verizon brand by going after those low end customers. I mean, so they seem like they're happy going with resale partners, MVNO partners, whether it's Walmart or whatever, to go after that segment. So yeah, they want to keep that Verizon brand as that prestige, high value brand.
Right, and I think all the price-sensitive customers, what they were saying, which is kind of their playbook, is to use as much as the now older 3G network for that purpose. So whether those customers are price-sensitive, you can offer cheaper plans and use the older network, albeit 3G data and voice. I mean, CDMA voice that's why you can do unlimited on it. So. That's a smart move on their part to kind of use it until they refarm the spectrum and retire.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, they've done a pretty good job of kind of keeping that machine rolling. So it's hard to argue with their playbook until something happens. So yeah, I mean, it seems like at this point, you really can't say they're doing anything wrong. So well, again, then I guess on the AT&T side, they announced this week, and again, they seem to show pretty strong numbers as well. I mean, not as strong on the postpaid side, but relatively strong, and still some good growth on the prepaid side too. What was your view on the AT&T numbers this week?
I think invariably, if you listen to the earnings calls quarter after quarter, the comparison always invariably comes between how Verizon's taking market share and what the numbers that they post with AT&T, and so it's always been a gap between Verizon and AT&T in terms of postpaid net adds. So it was less strong, but still they added on a positive note. They added positive net adds. What's interesting there was that the tablets that they cite and the number of smartphones. So it got having you and I have tracked these guys for a long time, and a lot of many quarters ago, a lot of the conversation had been talking about iPhone and new to AT&T, and then now with the exclusivity gone, that has waned. But going back to what was a commonality for both was constraints on device supply tempered a lot of the either activations or net adds, which is basically read it into iPhone 5S probably. So that was a commonality. The interesting about tablets was when I think it was either third quarter of 12 that Ralph Del Vega said, "Hey, tablet's going to be great and huge," and I was kind of doubting Thomas, but I think that the trend for the industry is such that tablets are going to be a growth item for them because you have smartphone penetration, everybody's expecting that, but it's above 50%, and you want people to upgrade, so that's for a given. So the new growth category is going to be tablets, and for both companies, it's their mobile sharing plans, data sharing plans that probably are, because they have a foundation, add a few more devices on. They have a wide range of data buckets, and so that ultimately helps add postpaid net adds and also increase ARPU, ARPA. Depends on who it is. So I think for both companies that they probably have a good mobile share foundation, and that will serve them well in the future. And another commonality that came out similar to Verizon was AT&T talking about price-sensitive users and the loss associated with that. So that's the two interesting commonalities I see from both companies.
Yeah, interesting. And on the tablet front, you're right. I mean, that's definitely been more of a getting a lot more attention from, it seems like, the carriers. I know obviously this was a big tablet week for announcements. T-Mobile had their announcement. Apple obviously had their announcement. Nokia had their announcement as well. So yeah, it does seem like, you're right, tablets could be gaining that traction as being that next growth item for carriers. And again, but it does seem like carriers are embracing tablets in a different way. I mean, T-Mobile this week, their announcement seemed to be definitely much more aggressive on going to the tablet front, where AT&T and Verizon are still, it seems a bit at like an arm's length when it comes to tablets. I mean, they like having them on there, but they're not going to be subsidizing them, it seems like, too much at this point still as well.
Yeah, I think the point, but the subsidies, so you probably seen, well, people who watched it have seen promotions on tablets.
Yeah.
Similar to smartphones to kind of generate that locking on. So, well, what's changed from maybe a year and a half to 2 years ago is the variety of tablet plans, and also, like I said, the data share foundations that are down there that make it easy for people just to, it's $10 more, or and invariably it comes down, and that's why I see how T-Mobile's doing it is, and I think Ledger has said that is, you give something that's free, they say, wow, I can't live without this, and then consumption increases, and therefore the upsell opportunity increases. And that's really kind of simplistic playbook of why the tablets are instrumental in data revenue growth for all carriers.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense. Well, again, it should be interesting to see how that T-Mobile one plays out going forward. But I guess maybe we could talk a bit about results going forward. Obviously, Sprint is announcing their results next week, T-Mobile the week after that, and in between there's some smaller carriers like Leap and US Cellular as well. I mean, what sort of impact do you expect the AT&T Verizon results to have on those carriers, and what do you expect from those carriers when it comes to third quarter results?
So with Sprint, they've already warned for a couple of quarters that they are going to see losses. Even though IDEN shut down, but the accounts associated with the IDEN, which mix IDEN and also CDMA, are going to hit in third quarter. So they set that to 2 quarters. So I expect some losses associated with Sprint. So it's a matter of how much loss, and have all those users gone to Verizon, probably Verizon. So that's why I'm looking for from Sprint from a pure metric standpoint, and then for T-Mobile, T-Mobile is like a dark horse. Q2 was phenomenal for them, and so that's kind of the question. They said that they'll meet their goals of however of postpaid stability. So I think that's part of the tablet strategy, is to increase postpaid users with tablets. So a postpaid user is a postpaid user, whether the ARPU is from voice plus smartphone data or just standalone, tablet data. So I think that's the T-Mobile playbook. But this happened in Q4, so we'll expect stuff to happen in Q4 earnings or Q1 earnings.
Yeah, but it should be interesting to see how, I guess, again, T-Mobile's second quarter results surprised so many people. I mean, they added a lot of customers. They're very aggressive. And so I think people are still kind of waiting to see if that spills over to third quarter. And again, with Sprint, like you said, with Sprint admitting that they're going to have a tough rest of the year, really, because of IDEN, it does seem like there's a lot of customers up for grabs there. So it'll be interesting to see if T-Mobile can keep that momentum going from second quarter to third quarter. I mean, if they even get close to what Verizon and AT&T did, that could be a pretty impressive quarter, especially if Sprint continues to lose customers. That'll look really good from the T-Mobile side.
So from T-Mobile, I expect growth from them because they had that Apollo 15 project where they expanded 15 markets,
On the Metro PCS side, yeah.
That's exactly it. So, if anything, their prepaid should be growing because they're pretty aggressive in that. And I kind of wonder that prepaid sensitivity because, Metro and Leap are the prepaid price-sensitive poster childs for a lot of value.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if that has gone that Metro PCS way or some MVNOs that either T-Mobile sponsoring or AT&T sponsoring or whatever. So I'm expecting the Metro side to probably do well for T-Mobile.
Yeah, that should be interesting. And it'll be interesting to see how I guess Leap at this point, Leap is kind of just waiting for the AT&T deal to close, and then U.S. Cellular obviously they're more of a regional play, but they've been struggling a bit recently. They are getting the iPhone here next month, but it won't really impact their Q3 numbers. But it should be interesting to see how they continue to operate in their limited markets at this point as well.
Yeah, U.S. Cellular has been losing quarter after quarter, so they need to stop that somehow. And it's tough being a regional provider.
Yeah.
As far as Leap, they've been on the slide for a long time, and if you heard John Stevens, the CFO for AT&T, say that several times that Leap is going to be central to their to attacking the price-sensitive base and using the Cricket brand and also the Leap infrastructure. I think pretty much the same playbook as what T-Mobile is doing with Metro and being very, very aggressive into growing into non-current Leap markets and doing basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And using the Cricket brand and not solely the AT&T prepaid brand, and that goes into why the rumors about AO shutting down or just
it's going away at some point.
Yeah, I feel bad for AO resellers.
I mean, when they launched that, and then to announce the Leap deal pretty much right afterward, that was definitely an odd combination there. But I'm guessing, AT&T's got money. What do they care?
But I guess it's, to go off on a tangent, the whole segmentation strategy seems to have played out, and if you look at the poster child for prepaid segmentation, it's Sprint with the MVNOs and their own brand. So I thought maybe that had some legs, and with T-Mobile having multiple brands and keeping that trend going with and everybody adopting that. So it's kind of surprising because AO supposedly reached a different higher segment, a la maybe the Virgin segment than Leap or Metro.
Yeah, because AO went with after smartphones and LTE, and definitely more of a higher revenue market than the traditional prepaid. So
and I think one of the things that in the FCC filing was that it was tough to go national if you're starting fresh. Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see again how those results come out for those guys. But like I said, Sprint next week, T-Mobile the week after that, and hopefully we can talk after that and get kind of a roundup on those guys as well. But I definitely would recommend those who are watching that if you want to get up to date on a lot of these things, Bill covers the carrier results pretty closely. Definitely should check out his Twitter feed where he's nonstop with the updates when they're announcing reports. So it's BillHo888 or at BillHo888 on Twitter there. Follow Bill there. You can definitely get up to the minute updates on the results and Bill's commentary there. So again, Bill, definitely appreciate the insight today. Thanks so much for the information, and hopefully we'll talk again after the other carriers announce their results.
All right, sure. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks.